announcing a new book, Zhan Zhuang Power Secrets. The first question is this: are there really secrets? Yes, there are. Hidden and lost also apply to what has happened to Zhan Zhuang in Taoist meditation, but I chose secrets. It was common for Chinese masters to only share the highest levels of energy cultivation with a few inner door students, sometimes only to one of their own children. Foreigners were never inner door students. There was, however, an unwritten law stating that the master must give his knowledge to at least one person before they died. For example, my teacher, Mr. Young, needed to teach his system to someone, so he tried some Chinese in Seattle, but they all dropped out after a few classes. Mr. Young said they only wanted to chase after money and had no interest in spiritual traditions from their homeland. Fortunately, his wife talked him into teaching Americans, so he did. I was his first Nei Kung student, and over a period of a few months, he accepted a couple of other guys into our class. Mr. Young was such an honest and sincere person that when he announced no secrets a couple of months after we had been going, it was a big deal for him. I didn't recognize the colossal importance of his no secrets statement till after getting a close look at the detours handed down to those teachers who weren't so lucky. The Great Culling. A major reason the information is generally unknown is due to the Chinese Communist Cultural Revolution. An army of idealistic university students called the Red Brigade was created, and they scoured the country for masters of all type. When they found them, they either killed them outright or took them to prison where they were tortured to death. They even killed a lot of the students. They completely destroyed their own spiritual heritage, which always happens when a communist or totalitarian regime takes over a country. The good news is that some very high-level Taoist masters escaped from China before the Red Brigade had a chance to eliminate them. The result of this is the deeper knowledge of these practices only existed outside of China. Those masters who escaped the communist takeover had a different attitude towards sharing than their modern counterparts do. They moved to the West because they wanted to live in a place with more open traditions and a freer society. These highly advanced masters of the old school wished to share it in depth. They were sharing because they loved their art and they wanted to create masters. They didn't really care about the money. On the other hand, most teachers who came from China after the Cultural Revolution saw the big dollar signs in the West, and they liked money, lots of money. However, their knowledge is limited due to the lack of advanced masters to teach them. It is natural for the brain to create and see patterns, even when they don't exist. Therefore, the entire generation of new Chinese cultivators naturally made up what they felt was missing. They also invented a lot of other knowledge simply to make themselves appear knowledgeable. And it worked because, boy, let me tell you, these moderns eat that stuff up, words. Fast paths and detours. In the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu laments, no one wants a straight path. Everyone loves detours. Almost. Some paths start at the base of the mountain and meander forever around the foothills looking at the scenery. These paths usually never end. They just keep going around and around the foothills, circling the mountain. That is what most paths are like. They are geared towards people who don't have the right stuff to go far, or they are not interested in going higher up on the mountain. They like to stay at the lower altitudes where it is safest. Some paths go a little ways up the mountain to where there are better views and drop you off at another path, which might go further up the mountain and might not. And some paths take you straight up to the mountaintop. The path that goes straight to the mountaintop, of course, is the shortest path, but is also the steepest path. It can be more difficult for people who are not in great condition, either physically or emotionally. About this book. Therefore, if you are one of those people who likes detours, this book may disappoint you because it's simple and direct, pointing the way up to the mountaintop. Hopefully there are enough of the other kind of people to make it worthwhile. Zhan Zhuang has absorbed a large amount of Buddhist and yogic concepts that have polluted the simple and powerful Taoist original. I realized how bad the situation had gotten when I wanted to share the Zhan Zhuang posture named horse stance with a friend. I searched the internet for a picture to send him, and even though I looked through hundreds of pictures, not one of them showed the actual original posture. Originally, horse stance referred to only one specific posture, but it wasn't on the internet, while everything else was. In other words, this essential spiritual cultivation method had been buried under heaps of misinformation, effectively lost, effectively hidden, and effectively secret. So, as my teacher said to me, no secrets, I also say to you, no secrets about Zhan Zhuang will be kept from you with this book either. It was difficult for me to decide whether or not to share secrets of power. On the one hand, I'm traditional and I felt that I needed to know a person before giving them anything special. Well, on the other hand, it seems to me many people are ready for this kind of thing now, and it could possibly, just possibly, make the world a better place in some way, hopefully. May the Force be with you.